Driving 100 kilometers every single day is a grueling routine. It tests your endurance, and it certainly tests your car's engine. Over a typical 10-year ownership period, that daily commute compounds into roughly 3.6 lakh kilometers. At that distance, you are facing a serious dilemma. You already know running a petrol car will drain your bank account. But looking at the alternatives, electric vehicles demand hundreds of thousands of rupees in upfront premiums, and they carry the lingering anxiety of a massive battery replacement bill down the line. To figure out if that initial premium is actually worth it, you have to throw out the ex-showroom price entirely. The only metric that gives you a true picture is the total cost of ownership. That calculation absorbs your upfront price, fuel, maintenance, insurance, and the eventual resale value into one final number. When you drive 100 kilometers a day, judging a car by the sticker in the dealership window is a guaranteed financial trap. This chart plots the total cumulative cost of 3 vehicles over a 10-year timeline. Right away, you can see the EV starts at a severe disadvantage. Buying an electric vehicle means paying a premium of roughly 3 to 4 lakh rupees over a standard Petrol or CNG model. Some regions are softening that initial blow. In states like Uttar Pradesh, the government currently waives the entire road tax on EVs, which immediately pulls that starting cost down slightly. But the real divergence happens the moment you drive off the lot. A standard petrol car costs about 6 rupees and 80 paise for every kilometer you drive. CNG sits lower, around 4.5 rupees per kilometer. Meanwhile, if you charge an EV at home, your running cost drops to roughly 1 rupee and 10 paise per kilometer. At 100 kilometers a day, that gap in efficiency means an EV is saving you nearly 1,80,000 rupees a year in fuel alone compared to petrol. Even against the cheaper CNG option, the EV still puts roughly 1,20,000 rupees back in your pocket annually. Those extreme daily savings chew through the initial EV premium incredibly fast. At exactly the 2.5-year mark, the lines intersect. The extra money you paid at the dealership has been entirely recovered. For the remaining 7.5 years of your ownership, every kilometer you drive is putting cash in the bank. By year 10, looking at the entire total cost of ownership, the EV has saved you over 12 lakh rupees compared to operating a petrol car, and it outpaces a CNG car by roughly 10 lakh rupees in fuel savings alone. The vehicle with the most expensive sticker price mathematically becomes the cheapest vehicle you can operate, wiping out its own premium in just 30 months. There is a persistent fear that holds people back: the standard 8-year or 1.6 lakh kilometer battery warranty. If you are driving 100 kilometers a day, you will blow past that 1.6 lakh kilometer limit in under 5 years. The odds are extremely high that you will experience battery degradation and need a replacement before a decade is up. Let's look at this side-by-side matrix and apply the absolute worst-case scenario. We are forcing a strict, out-of-pocket penalty of 3.5 lakh rupees onto the EV ledger for a brand new battery. We tally the CNG side first. We factor in the purchase price, 10 years of fuel, maintenance, insurance, and eventual resale. The net total cost of ownership for CNG lands at 27.7 lakh rupees. Now we tally the EV. We include the high purchase price, the cheap electricity, routine maintenance, and that massive 3.5 lakh rupee penalty block. The EV net TCO lands at exactly 22.0 lakh rupees. The day-to-day operational savings of electricity over fossil fuels are so aggressive that the EV entirely absorbs the cost of a full battery replacement and still leaves you more than 5 lakh rupees richer than if you had bought CNG. There is one major exception where this logic breaks down. If you are an independent taxi driver logging 150 kilometers a day, the math changes. For a commercial operation, 10-year savings take a back seat to daily liquidity. Cash flow is the metric that keeps the business alive. Financing a 12 to 14 lakh rupee EV means committing to a massive monthly EMI. If you fall sick or market demand dips, that fixed liability becomes a dangerous threat to your livelihood. Furthermore, a taxi driver rarely has the luxury of a slow home charge. Relying on commercial DC fast chargers at 18 to 20 rupees a unit spikes your running cost close to 3 rupees per kilometer. Then there is the downtime. Sitting at a charging station for an hour in the middle of the day means you are actively missing rides and losing passenger revenue. This is where factory-fitted CNG cars, like the Desire or Ertiga, prove their worth. Refueling a CNG tank takes 10 to 15 minutes, keeping the vehicle on the road and earning. Because a commercial CNG car costs closer to 8 lakh rupees upfront, the monthly EMI is small enough to easily cover with standard daily fares. If you are collecting a passenger fare of 15 rupees per kilometer and your CNG cost is only 4.5 rupees, you maintain a highly profitable operating margin. For personal use, you optimize for the decade, but for commercial taxi operations, protecting your daily cash flow makes CNG the mandatory choice. There is one final edge case. Some drivers easily cross the 100-kilometer mark, but their routes are entirely unpredictable. Frequent outstation trips or rural highway driving where fast chargers are scarce. If you fall into this category, strong hybrids offer a specific middle ground, combining the quick refueling convenience of petrol with the high efficiency of an electric motor. While the upfront cost is higher than almost anything else in the segment, they deliver a genuine real-world average of 25 to 27 kilometers per liter, which heavily blunts the pain of petrol prices. Over a 10-year span, our data shows a strong hybrid is mathematically more expensive to own and operate than an EV. By choosing the hybrid, you are willingly paying a financial premium specifically to eliminate route planning and range anxiety from your life. This flowchart breaks down exactly how to make your decision. It all starts with one question: how many kilometers do you actually drive every day? If your daily commute is under 50 kilometers, your fuel savings will never accumulate fast enough to justify an EV's premium. Protect your upfront capital and buy a CNG car. If you are logging over 100 kilometers as a commercial taxi operator, buy CNG to keep your EMI low and protect your daily cash flow. If you drive extensive, unpredictable intercity routes where charging infrastructure is a gamble, buy a strong hybrid and pay the premium for peace of mind. But if you are a personal user, driving a predictable route of 100 kilometers or more every day, the math is entirely undefeated. Buy the EV and maximize your 10-year return on investment. There's no single perfect car on the market, only the vehicle that perfectly matches your routine. To make the right financial choice, stop looking at a car as a piece of metal with a showroom price tag. When you buy a high-mileage vehicle, you are actually pre-purchasing a decade's worth of energy. Once you cross that 100-kilometer daily threshold, basic intuition fails and mathematics takes over, and the math demands that you secure the cheapest energy available.